I love it.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is great. For me, this was a movie in between a total lack of expectations, it being a sequel to a Shrek spin-off, and extremely high expectations, given that every review outlet said this was the cartoon version of Citizen Kane. I can now say with confidence that the movie, while far from perfect, deserves most of its outlandish praise. Puss loses his 8th life, because cats have 9, and he starts to see a wolf representing death, confronted for the first time by his own mortality. Foregoing his life of adventure, he runs away. Pursued by death, Goldilocks and her 3 bears, as well as Jack Horner and his bag of magic tricks, Puss and his 2 friends must get to the wishing star first to make their wishes. Honestly, the middle of the movie is kinda slow and not the best part. After several confrontations, the parties converge and we arrive at the climax. Puss has to learn the error of his ways, no longer pursuing his own glory. He discovers that in the absence of his ego, he's ready to accept love and to give love in return. This leads him to a final confrontation with the wolf, in which he must put aside the notion that regaining his lives will make them worth living. Puss shelves his ego to spar with death and is rewarded with a chance to live his one remaining life well. That's the plot, hyper simplified, but it's the broad strokes of it. The writing is really solid. I enjoyed all the arcs of these characters and the side characters. Puss in Boots has a very natural progression in overcoming his own ego. It starts with his scare for his own life, but it really culminates with him being honest with his old flame about his own cowardice. It doesn't feel cheesy, and it doesn't feel like his character had to be deconstructed for it to work. In the end, it's his courage to stand selflessly with his friends that makes him a more impressive fighter than ever. I love the execution of this character arc and how overcoming his own ego doesn't come at the cost of making him weaker. I'm kind of sick of the story about a hero who's revealed to be not all that great and has to be torn down and reduced so that he can be better. Yay, all my heroes are sad pieces of shit. It's just what I wanted. It's become a trope in movies right now, and it's really nice to see a departure from that. On the less great side of things, while the side characters are all good, I'm not really sure they add a whole lot. The Goldilocks gang is fun, but it mostly feels like the kid-friendly plotline, and it overlaps a lot with Puss in Boots' main conflict. It's fine, and it doesn't make the movie worse, but you could probably have given this characterization to the dog, and it would have felt a little tighter. The low note is probably Jack Horner as the antagonist. He's okay as a foil to Puss. Jack's wish is pure ego to be ultra-powerful, and he's ultimately appropriately punished within the story. This reflects Puss's own potential choices. My wish for this character would that he would be more connected to Puss directly. They share very little screen time and don't really know each other. Honestly, after the banger final fight with death, you kind of forget that Jack Horner was even in the movie and that he was the bad guy the whole time. I'm going to show some footage from the trailer. Jack Horner is in it, and he's in it for 13 frames, so I think somebody at the studio agrees with me. He's not bad, and if you got rid of him and the Goldilocks, the whole movie would probably only be like 45 minutes long, so I think it's fine that they're here, but their writing just isn't as airtight as the rest of it. Now, the movie is all around great, but the standout element is really the animation. Those Spider-Verse movies have had a massive impact on animated filmmaking, and you can see the inspiration here. That hand-drawn feel, the fast and slick action, combined with bright pastel colors, give this movie a really dramatic, big energy which works especially well in its darker moments. The visual characterization of the Death Wolf is incredible. It's easily the best part of the movie. There's great vocal work here from Pablo Escobar and this super cool sound cue, but it's the visual presentation of the wolf that make his scenes such a standout. I'm pretty sure this alone is the reason adults are such big fans of this movie. His introduction in the bar scene is perfectly terrifying. Off the back of Puss in Boots' intro and his big win, the wolf is presented as more than just a threat. He's such an overwhelming opponent that he represents certain destruction. Check out this quick little edit. This is when I was fully committed.
You are too good looking to retire.
Overall, strong writing, colorful voice work, and in moments, some of the most satisfying animation I've seen in years. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is not a movie I expected to see at all, but here I am mostly loving it. So if the first Spider-Verse movie is a 10, and it is, this is like an 8. A strong 8. A solid 8. Good flick, hope the Shrek will is just as good.